What's up, my king standing at 5'8" or shorter? I think we all know that in life we have two choices. One is to embrace our more effeminate side and never shut up about Guilty Gear and Fallout in Vegas, or we can choose to be dwarves, sitting in our caves collecting trinkets that fulfill our nerdy desires. Either way, I've heard that both paths and even the tall kings in our ranks can enjoy this experience. A game unlike any other, putting sci-fi and fantasy together. Oh boy, you think I'm talking about Warhammer 40k, but I'm not. But I won't tease you anymore about what this great game is. You can read the title and see the thumbnail. If you don't already know what I'm talking about, let me introduce you to Deep Rock Galactic. Deep Rock Galactic is a 4-player co-op game that puts you in the shoes of a space dwarf. A dwarf that works for a mining company known as Deep Rock Galactic, on their endeavor to extract all the precious resources from Hox's 4, a planet that has a big old bug infestation that you and your friends have to mow down. The game itself has a loadout and class system with levels, upgrades, and everything else being in the game also. With the game being made by Ghost Ship Games and released in early May 2020, with it being in early access since 2018. This is all cool stuff and all, but most of this is a riff on the Left 4 Dead formula that started off this 4-player co-op shindig, with it later being expanded upon by games like Vermintide, Evolve, and other games like it. This video isn't just going to be a baseline for just explaining what the game is. Instead, we're going to be doing everyone's favorite activity, comparing things. And I want to show you why Deep Rock Galactic is built different. Deep Rock Galactic's gameplay flow works like this. You go into a mission, you collect various shiny rocks and do objectives for the good of the company, or for yourself, all while fighting off waves of enemies of aliens called Glyphids and Mactera, as well as some other ones that are all basically giant bugs. You leave and come back to the main menu, which is the space rig. You level up, you get upgrades for your weapons, and you can do multiple sets of missions to unlock different weapons, mission types, and cosmetics, as well as various other doodads. Sounds pretty industry standard to me, which is good. But there are a few things that Deep Rock Galactic does that subvert these industry standards, that showcase this game isn't made by unfeeling robots that want to drain all of our money out of us by buying expansions, or weapon packs, or cosmetics really. Instead, Deep Rock Galactic is made by people that enjoy the craft of a video game, with the developers obviously wanting to make a game that they would enjoy to play that wouldn't have the issues of microtransactions. One thing that Deep Rock has over most, if not all of its contemporaries, is that every cave formation is entirely unique and generated randomly. Whenever a new rotation of missions is put in, new caves are made. That's right, we're dealing with entirely procedural generation that makes it so no two caves are exactly the same. Sure, they follow a set formula, but every crevice, drop, cave leech, pillar, and seemingly impossible to get mineral was placed there by chance, and an algorithm, of course. And even though each cave is procedurally generated, it makes the caves and gameplay cycle never get boring. Everything's always new and different in any cave you get into. Talking about cave generation, this game has biomes too that make it so each little part of this bug-infested planet has personality, on top of them being infinitely expansive with the amount of caves there are. You have stuff like the purples and blues found in the crystalline caverns that look like yummy Jolly Ranchers, rocks that destroy your teeth. The vibrant reds of the salt pits that remind me of Crate from The Last Jedi. The greens of vegetation and poison of the fungus bog. The whites and greens of the radioactive exclusion zone make me wish for some sort of Glyphidzilla. The soft pastels of the dense biozone with the rain that comes through sometimes. Cold blues of the glacial strait. And the woods and thorns of the hollow burrow. And I can't forget about the purples and the fluorescent colors of the azure well, or the fire, lava, and earthquakes of the magma core. Each one of these also have semi-exclusive tiny rocks that are used to upgrade equipment and get cosmetics, like fire, earthquakes, special enemies, or just status conditions and plants. On top of normal difficulty selection, there are also difficulty modifiers that can change how the game plays with small bits of minutia. From things I hate more than anything I've ever seen, like the invisible cave horrors that jump scares you and blows you up, or sometimes you have the debuff of asthma where you can't breathe unless oxygen is right next to you or you have it in a tank. Or the world could decide not to hate you and you could have things like low gravity or oxygen-rich environments, which help you move and traverse way faster. You can have things that are incredibly resource-rich, like a bunch of gold everywhere or a bunch of everything everywhere. Either way, these modifiers do help add something. Think of kind of the modifiers from Darktide, but a little bit more involved instead of just, yeah, we up spawn rates for stuff. Ooh. Either way, these modifiers add fun and replayability to the already random caves, making them almost Mario Party-esque if you get crazy things like exploding bugs. The eggheads that made this game also genuinely thought about the way that Deep Rock was going to play. Everything about Deep Rock Galactic is so tightly designed and easily understandable that it doesn't need anything complicated to make sure the game is truly special. Heck, for a combat-oriented game, there isn't even a healing class, or any way to heal your teammates normally. Instead, if you're wounded and a bug took out your overworked liver, you try to find this thing called red sugar in the cave. Or you try to bring perks to make it so when you melee kill a bug, it gives you some health back. Instead, each class has its own supportive option that are used to provide things like traversal options, light, and shielding for the team. With even some of the classes that are more catered towards fighting most bugs than others having supportive options. Like the driller having drills to bore through areas, the engineer can set down platforms to make it so people can climb stuff easier, and the scout can provide lights, with the gunner putting down zip lines, making it so the team helps each other out instead of just one person carrying the entire thing. Combat even feels the same way too, with each character having their own role, from the scout being able to burst down heavies from a long range, while being hypermobile, to the CC-oriented driller that can stop big and slow things alike, but sometimes needs a little help to get rid of them. The NG with the shredder drones that solve every issue. Like, seriously, these drones auto-win the game. He also has turrets, making him have a little bit more passive playstyle that's more oriented on setup. Or you can play the gunner that has the highest DPS but some of the worst mobility, using weapons that often slow him down but deliver a hell of a punch to anything he's fighting. No one class is better than the other, and the whole game is built around building each other up. But if one class is missing, you kind of feel it because the game is balanced towards having all four. It's just that little slower, which is fine because it still flows great, but there's nothing like having one of each class. Every cave is lit, bored into, patched up, and zip lined within like a minute. Big bugs will be set up with CC and knocked down by everybody else, with that usually being dealt with by drillers and gunners, while engineers and scouts deal with chaff, with an amazing soundtrack to boot. After your first set of levels, and after you get some weapons, you get prestige content. This allows you things like weapon modifications that can change your weapons only a little bit, with no downsides, or make it so the gun turns into a laser beam that turns bugs into popcorn that you can eat, but it has less ammo. Not actually, that doesn't exist, but there are some pretty crazy ones out there. These upgrades are unlocked and found in events that span through the entirety of the game that are randomly generated in caves and levels. Or you can get them through a mission assignment every week, or a special type of mission you unlock after prestiging that resets every week too. These cosmetics range from amazingly made beards and moustaches to weapon enhancements that give you unlimited bullets, but no bullets. These events are also mini-objectives and mini-games that can be done in a limited time that act like mini-bosses. Deep Rock Galactic itself gets a major free update about every 6 months or so. Notice how I said free. This isn't Destiny or Back 4 Blood or Payday. All updates in the game are free and shipped out to all players at the exact same time. And each update comes with 4 new weapons, one for each class, making it so there's new playstyles to play from a new grenade, secondary, or primary. Again, no paying for weapon packs. You know what else is free in Deep Rock Galactic? These things called battle passes. Unlike other games where you have to grind levels and cosmetics to get Peter Griffin, the materials straight up are free in Deep Rock Galactic, just with a little bit of grinding. With there being things like other cosmetics and weapon skins that share some sort of thematic connection, like mil-spec weapons or spooky plague matter. Either way, even when the battle pass disappears, the contents inside it are not vaulted away forever. They can still be found as loot and events, so you don't have something you're missing out on and you can strive towards on higher levels. Seasonal events also happen for the holidays and other festivals around the year that give 2 times XP on missions on top of the other battle pass XP you might get from other events, allowing you to grind through the levels very fast, while also including new cosmetics that are themed towards the event and the holidays. New enemies also get added every once in a while, One update saw the introduction of an entire faction of the rival company and their robots, and even dark evil spaghetti-infested Glyphids and Mactera, as well as a scorpion that grabs instead of stings, and a pooflinger. This is literally what it does. It's called a septic spreader. It flings poop. New minigames have been added too, like the Flappy Bird clone Jetty Boot, along with jet boots that come for ease of access for materials in some missions. While other games might ask for $60 or $40 for a game like this, Deep Rock Galactic sits at a cool $30 if no sale's going on. If there is a sale, you can often find this game going for somewhere near $10, with everything being there ready for you to unlock. The only thing you might spend money on is outfits or weapon skins, with some of them being exclusive towards spending money towards it. But all the funds that you spend usually go into supporting the game and its creators to create updates for this game and other games in the Deep Rock Galactic universe, which makes sense. And if despite everything I said you still aren't sold on Deep Rock Galactic or its staying power, just look at the year it came out. Its Steam chart numbers and the impact it's had on internet culture. I dare you to go into any social media website or any social media channel, message board or Discord about dwarves, and try to find one that doesn't echo the ideas of Deep Rock Galactic's catchphrase, Rock and Stone. Heck, people even like a side character, Mission Control, so much that they made him sing an AI version of Billie Jean. Deep Rock Galactic is a game that I return to and talk about more than most. I love you, Deep Rock, and if you haven't given the game a try, you should right now. It's only $10 dues. And those $10 dues can give you hours of fun that you can always come back to and talk about your friends with. Well, that's all I got for this video. I hope you liked it. What do you think about Deep Rock Galactic? And would you like to see me make some more Deep Rock Galactic content, maybe talking about the game and lore? Make sure to tell me in the comments down below. Till next video, fellas.